Hello and welcome back to Steep Dreams with Mad Hatters. Thanks so much for being here. This is Ep 7, which I will call Wahoo for Waldo. You'll notice that Jeff's not here. He's busy, but we did want to touch base with you and connect again before our next episode. So here I am. You get me. Couple things. Before we get going on Waldo, I do want to let you know that the Quicksilver Half, 10K and 1 mile kids race is October 25th. October 25th coming up in a little bit here. We're getting close, and we do still need volunteers, and we got plenty of room for runners. So check us out on Ultra Sign Up. This is a great opportunity to run parts of the Quicksilver endurance runs courses without running them in the heat, and also kind of dipping your toes in sub-ultra distances. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Sports Base in Almaden, whose grand opening, they're open now, but their grand opening is September 6th, and that should be fun. For those of you that know us personally, we know that Rich DeBorba and a Guzman are associated with Sports Basement. Man, they do such a great job, and they're so good to the community that anything we can do to help them out would be rad. So come check out Sports Basement Almaden for their grand opening. Another thing, like a news item, real quick shout out to the UTMB participants. One of my weekly club runners, the Altitude Addicts, Teresita Gomez, did an amazing job at CCC. And I know I had some other friends there. I've got mixed feelings about UTMB. I don't like how the corporate part is okay with me to an extent. I do feel like they've choked out some local races. I'd like to see them work with the local companies so that the small entities can still continue to make a living putting on races and not get totally choked out by the Nordstrom of ultra running or UTMB. Nonetheless, I understand that this is like a bucket list event for many, many people, and I can understand why, and I'm proud of you, and I'm excited for you. So great job to all those folks at UTMB. Okay, Waldo. Waldo 100K is a 100K Western States qualifier in early August. I believe it's the first Saturday of August. If it's not that by rule, it certainly lands there most of the time. And it is a pretty spectacular race. So it starts and finishes at the Willamette Pass ski area, at the top of a highway pass at about 5,000 feet, but not the top of the mountains at all. The race starts with a pretty significant climb. You spend a lot of time on the PCT. It's absolutely beautiful. You run through the Cascade Lakes region of Oregon, which is pretty spectacular. I have a lot of history there. It's about an hour from Bend, where my mom was born and died. So I spent a lot of time visiting, hanging out, making friends in the Bend area long before I was a runner. So getting the opportunity to run this race, I believe the first time I ran it was 2016, was pretty amazing. You can actually see the lake in which my mom's ashes rest from the last climb, Maiden Peak. So from Maiden Peak, you can look over Crescent Lake. My mom's ashes are in Crescent Lake. So this is a deeply personal race for me. But that's not it. It's an awesome race. So I think it was 2016 the first time I ran it, and then the second and most recent time I ran it was 2023 or 4 as 2023 as my Western States qualifier for the 2024 run. Really hard, but really beautiful, spectacular race. I had signed up for the race, and I got in with a bunch of friends, but things just didn't work out for me to train and be prepared for that race this year. But I wasn't going to miss out. I had a bunch of friends that were going to go up and run. So with about 2 weeks to a month before the race, I emailed the RD. The RD is the same RD for Western States. It's Craig Thornley. And I emailed Craig and I said, hey, I don't think I'm going to make it to the starting line, but I'm happy to help. He found me a spot to volunteer, which was at Mount Fuji, which was quite the experience. So Mount Fuji is an aid station you pass through twice. It's mile 12 and mile 15, fairly early in the race. but so amazing, right? You get to see people twice early in the race, and you're done fairly early in the morning. So I let Craig know that I could volunteer. And again, Craig Thornley, he's the race director for Western States. He's excellent. He's detail oriented. He's fine tooth comb at Western States. And you get a lot of that at Waldo, but I did get an email to volunteer that said, "Hey, thanks for volunteering. To get to the aid station, go 11 miles down the road, make a right at the road you find there, and drive to the end of that road." That's roughly what it said. So I wake up in the dark, just after John Burton, who I was traveling with and staying with, just after he got up to run the race. Within 20 or 30 minutes, I was out of bed to go volunteer. I was a little sketchy about these instructions. I wanted to give myself plenty of time. First of all, they say drive 11 miles down the road. Well, the starting point is Willamette Pass. That's where the start finish is. You're at the top of the pass. So 11 miles down the road could be east or west. Well, I found out the night before at Packet Pickup that I was going west. Okay, good. At least I got that, right? I was a little concerned about finding the road that was at mile marker 51 or whatever it was, but there was a road at mile marker 51, 11 miles down from Willamette Pass. That road had a name on it. It was called Eagle Creek Road. So I was like, why on earth did they not tell me it's called Eagle Creek Road? That gave me a little hesitation that it wasn't the right road, because if it was the right road, they would have told me to turn on Eagle Creek Road, but they didn't. So I start going down Eagle Creek Road in the middle of the night. It's 5 a.m. It's dark as hell. So I'm driving, and I get about 3 miles down Eagle Creek Road, and again, my instructions are to go to the end of the road. I have no idea whether it's 1, 10, or 100 miles. It's dark. I'm not even sure that Eagle Creek Road is the right road. I'm actually thinking that it's not, because if it was, they would have said so. Furthermore, Eagle Creek Road is at an elevation of about 2,000 feet. There is nothing on the Waldo course lower than about 4,000 or 5,000 feet. So I couldn't understand why I was so far below the course. So I stopped, and I turned around, and I drove back to the start finish. And I drove to Net Control, the radio station, to kind of get some more information. On my way there, I ran into Lori Thornley, Craig's wife, and I told her my story. I said, "Lori, I went 11 miles down the road, and I found a road. It's called Eagle Creek." And she's like, "That's right." And I'm thinking in my head, why didn't you tell me that? Or why didn't Craig tell me that? But that's okay. "Okay, so that's the road I take. How far do I take it?" She says, 11 miles. And I says, "I know, it's 11 miles from here. How far do I take Eagle Creek Road?" She says, "No, 11 miles. So I'm on this dirt road for 11 miles, just making sure I don't get lost. But at least I know that I'm on the right track, so off I go. I make it to the aid station. I'm about 45 minutes late. I missed setup. I feel bad about that. But I made it. So anybody that's run Waldo knows Fuji Mountain is like mosquito central. So I spent a couple hours just filling bottles. I had a pitcher in my hand the whole time. That was the only thing I did. I didn't cut fruit. I didn't rub feet. I didn't find drop bags. I just pitchers all day. And just getting murdered by mosquitoes. That was one thing that they did say in the email, was like, there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes. So I pulled out my industrial spray. Even though it was not very cold, I had full body coverage. And the mosquitoes at Fuji are crazy. You can see them in the air. Like when you're all covered and sprayed up, they're not landing on you necessarily, but you can see them in the air. Like you feel like you could actually breathe them. It's crazy. Running through there, I've run that race twice. Like I mentioned, you don't really notice it, but man, you sure as heck do when you're standing still. So that was kind of wild. Leading up to the race, John and I drove up on Thursday, which gave us all day Friday. We also drove up with our buddy Bo. We didn't drive together, but Bo drove up on the same day. that gave us Friday to sightsee. That was really fun. The area is beautiful. That's one thing that I'll probably talk about with this race later. Is the area is absolutely beautiful. Cascade Lakes region of Oregon, Willamette Pass, totally gorgeous. So we spent Friday hiking, which was a walk really, to Salt Creek Falls, the second highest waterfall in Oregon, and it was super super amazing. Nice way to spend the Friday before the race. Now, on race day, I had a bunch of folks running that I really care about. My friend Erica, who has paced me at Western States twice. Poor Erica, she came up with her husband, Chris, and her son, Cam. Cam was not feeling well, which totally turned all of our Friday pre-race dinner plans upside down. Also, made it so, Chris was taking care of Cam, so Chris could no longer pace Erica, so Erica didn't have a pacer, which is okay, but not ideal. Erica, she had a tough race with all that going on. So like I said, Erica's paced me twice at Western States. I actually paced Erica at her first ever 50K. Don't laugh at us because I paced her to 50K. It was in the rules that you could have a pacer. It was her first ultra, so why not? Erica, she had a long day. She was out there for a Western States qualifier. She missed her Western States qualifier, but she finished. And not only did she finish, Waldo has an award, a Show Us Your Waldo award. It's like the Spirit Award. And she won the Spirit Award by handing out these amazing, funny stickers. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to cut watermelon, and all I got was this sticker. I think mine just said, my sticker says, mountains, lakes, junk food, Waldo, which I love. It's on my car. It's actually on my car already. So she won the Show Us Your Waldo award. But other than that, she had a really tough weekend. Did not get her qualifier. But I want to say again and again and again, she finished the race. She was out there alone in the dark. She was amazing. Quick shout out to John and Jessica Strack, friends of mine from the Auburn area that I've just kind of been running races with over the years. They were among the last 5 people to finish the race. That means they were out there for close to 20 hours. Kind of gives you a sense of what a legit 100K this was. Huge shout out, props to John and Jessica. Another friend that I was really happy to see was my friend Kelly. Kelly H. Kelly H spent a year on Mars in a NASA mission. She wasn't actually on Mars, but she was in a Mars simulation where she was totally isolated from the world for a full year. She's out now and doing races again. It was really cool to be up there at Willamette at Packet Pickup and to run into Kelly and get a big old hug and get another big old hug when she came through the aid station. She finished the race. She got her Western States qualifier. Kelly, I'm a fan. I also got to travel with my friend John Burton. If you know me, you know that John's been my main training buddy for years now, but I shouldn't even say training buddy. He's one of my main buddies for years now. He went up to do Waldo. Poor guy. Probably signed up because he thought I was going to run, and then it's not like I cheesed out, but it just didn't work out for me. So he went up there and he kind of had to run it by himself. But also Bo, another altitude addict. Bo Van Zant was up there to run Waldo on my recommendation. So we drove up the same day. Our vehicles were close along the ride, so we got there roughly the same time. And we got to spend a lot of time, me, John, and Bo, on this trip. That was cool. Because here I am in an area where I feel like I grew up. I grew up in San Jose, California, but my home away from home was Bend, right? So here I am in an area where I feel like I grew up, running a race I run twice, a resort I've stayed at a couple of times, and I get to show my friends around. It was, for me, even though I didn't run the race, that part was very, very special. Spending time with John and Bo, and just pointing things out, oh yeah, this was, we used to party here when I was in high school, and we used to get chicken here when I was in college, and stuff like that was really, really. Oh, over there's my mom's cabin. That it was just kind of cool to share those experiences with those guys. It was also cool to have John. We have a mutual friend, Jeff Clowers, who is from the area. Not just me with local knowledge. John and I had Jeff's input. Jeff was giving us different points of interest to check out and stuff like that, which was super cool. I went up there with like, oh, here's all the things I've always done. We should, if you're interested, we should do those things. But John took us to a new place, Salt Creek Falls, the second tallest waterfall in Oregon, on the recommendation of Jeff Clowers. It's funny because Salt Creek Falls is about 15 minutes from the resort where we stay. I had no idea it was there, even though I have experience in the area. So even though I wanted to take John and Bo into some wilderness area, we got this other amazing recommendation to see Salt Creek Falls, which was super great. So fun. So all of this leading up to, I could not recommend the Waldo 100K and the Odell Lake Resort anymore. I love the whole experience. I love the 2, 3, 5, give me 10 days. I'd be great. We've already booked for next year. I know that Waldo 100K next year is Saturday, August 1st. I know I will be arriving no later than Friday, July 31st, and we'll be there, man. I hope to be in racing shape again and feeling confident about racing again. I sure as heck should be. But even if I'm not, I'll go up there and I'll brave the mosquitoes again. I ain't scared. I ain't scared of those mosquitoes. No, I'm going back. I'm going back to Waldo next year. So, that's it for the Waldo recap. Thanks for listening. I hope it was somewhat interesting. Hey, stay tuned. We are hoping to record again on September 13th, about 2 weeks from today. You know, we're kind of a loosey-goosey operation around here. I can't guarantee it'll be that day, but we do have a guest lined up. Somebody I've mentioned on this particular episode, somebody I spend a lot of time with, somebody you can probably guess by now. But yeah, we're hoping to put that together for the next episode, Sunday, September 13th. Generally, we publish the episodes the same day we record. Okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Again, I highly encourage you to check out Waldo 100K. It is a lottery race. But even if not Waldo 100K, check out the Cascade Lakes region of Central Oregon. Check out the Willamette Pass ski area, the lakes, the resorts, the campsites, the fire roads. They're never ending. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'm familiar with the area. I've spent a lot of time there. So let me know if you have any questions or you want specific recommendations. If you know me, you know that I'd be thrilled to give them to you. All right. That's all I got for today. I'm sure it's more than enough. I love you guys for being here. Thanks so much. Go get dirty out there.